being swept under the carpet and nobody's calling it out. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to call it out. John Fury is a disgrace. What he's doing is bringing boxing into disrepute. It's disgusting and terrible that people will be watching this fight, the biggest fight in years.
Every Tyson Fury bout appears to be preceded or followed by a back and forth between Carl Froch and John Fury. It's Carl Froch, but John Fury hasn't said anything. After his son's death, Frch first criticized John Fury for being too quiet, asking why the fighting man was always so quiet.
Press conference, and there's been one thing missing in the build-up. Big John Fury, the fighting man, 100 on the hard road. That man is gone.
It's interesting that he referred to Tyson Fury as a disgrace to British boxing and an inept boxer who lost to cruiserweight Carl Froch, his training partner Tony Bellew, despite Fury's height and weight advantage. Tyson Fury was trolling when he claimed that if he were as tall and massive as Tyson Fury, he would crush everyone on the planet, implying that he is well below the expectations placed on him.
And 6'9". I've told you what I'd do. I'd fucking invade Russia. But I'm not that big and I'm not that heavy. So, like, I don't know if I could ever lose if I was that big.
Carl Froch, the former super middleweight world champion, claimed on his YouTube channel that the right man prevailed while he was ringside.
Usyk did the job this evening, got the win and retained his titles in what was a pretty intriguing fight that kind of had you sitting there watching with you. I wasn't mesmerised, but I was interested for every.
Frch revealed that he scored the fight the same as all three judges, noting it was a close contest. The fight was competitive, especially in the early rounds, with both Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk trading rounds. From round 1 through round 6 or 7, it was hard to split the two fighters, with some rounds going to Tyson and others to Usyk. Frch mentioned that there were 3 or 4 rounds that were particularly difficult to call, as they were very evenly matched. He identified the turning point as round 6 or 7, when Usyk started to close the gap as Tyson began to tire, something Frch had anticipated. While eye-catching shots came from Usyk, Frch felt that Frank Warren, sitting ringside, was likely seeing the fight through biased lenses, possibly believing Tyson had won and pushing for a trilogy. Ultimately, Frch scored the fight for Usyk, with a margin of 4 or 5 rounds, aligning with the judges' consensus.
But they never said that Fury won that fight. So there's no complaints other than Bricktop at ringside. But like I said, he's got one eye on the prize, hasn't he? But let's be honest,
John Fury need to know that his kid has brought shame to the entire British boxing community. John Fury may finally speak out against this slander. He may remain silent. John Fury is unlikely to say anything after being shot by Carl Froch, both before and after his son's fight.
Usyk worked, but the eye-catching shots ultimately came from Oleksandr Usyk, who is a different class in here. He's just a class above, because when you consider the weight and...
As Tyson Fury intensifies his preparations for the highly anticipated fight with Oleksandr Usyk, Nottinghamshire boxing icon Carl Froch has advised him to think about removing his father from the team. The guidance follows John Fury. Due to his disruptive behavior during the recent Tommy Fury vs. Darren Till press event at the launch, Tyson's father received unfavorable attention. Despite Tommy and Till's initial cordial tone, things took a turn for the worse when John started hurling water at Till. This resulted in a brawl that needed security assistance to keep the two combatants apart before tension subsided.
Tyson probably knows that actually, listen, Dad, you've got your best intentions at heart. You want me to win, you want me to do the business. But do me a favour, stay.
During an interview with Action Network, Froch was critical of Fury Sr.'s actions, which were typical of a grown man acting like a pitiful child. Darren was rather outspoken and had a lot to say, but ultimately it's about Tommy Fury and Darren Till, so why is Big John Fury the fighting man? At the end of the day, getting involved is a person who needs some attention. He is a somebody who has never accomplished anything. It's clear that Tyson Fury is excellent. We know what he's all about, and he's an elite fighter. I don't pay attention to him, even though I know he just lost to Oleksandr Usyk.
Fury just sits back, keeps his mouth shut, watches his son and wills him on to win. Maybe he's in the camp, maybe he's helping him and just keeping the distance and letting the real trainers do the job. But yeah, no Big John Fury. I missed him. Where's John? Where's Big John?
When Tyson was getting ready for his much-anticipated rematch against Usyk following his first professional loss to the Ukrainian in May, rumors of moving John out of Tyson's corner started to circulate. Fury wanted to make it even. Tyson said he won't be making any big adjustments to his approach for the impending contest when asked about it. He said, "No, what I have to do nothing drastic in response to his approach or T-Team. Peopling Sasse wants to switch trainers. I'll blame the mouse next door, the co-cook, or my conditioning co-coach. The same crew, same stuff. Understand what I must do."
The fact that Tony Bellew and Carl Froch didn't make any money out of the game is obviously hurtful to them. And I'm making the biggest bags that's ever.
Former cruiserweight world champion and close friend of Carl Frampton, Tony Bellew closely watched the fight and gave his analysis heading into the final round. He had Oleksandr Usyk ahead, scoring at 6-5 after 11 rounds. Bellew acknowledged that some rounds were close but pointed out that Usyk had been pressing the action and outlanding Tyson Fury. He stated, "I can't see how he is losing this, as he's pressing the fight and outlanding Fury. It's all up for grabs here, and a knockdown would win it for Fury." Bellew then scored the 12th round as a 1-0 draw, ultimately giving Usyk a 1-1-5-1-1-1 victory on his card. He praised both fighters for their efforts, calling it a brilliant fight, and emphasized that it wasn't a robbery regardless of the outcome. Bellew felt Usyk had done enough outlanding Fury and controlling the pace, though he agreed that the judges' 1-1-6-1-1-2 scorecards were too wide. Both men fought their hearts out in an exciting contest.
I thought I won that fight again. I think I've got Larry Holmes here. I thought I've won both fights. But then again, I've gone home with 2 losses on my record now, so there's not much I can do about it. I can just fight my heart out and do the best I can. But again, I'll always believe.
Tyson Fury's recent fight against former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou in Riyadh on October 28th was a highly anticipated clash, especially given the criticism Fury faced for choosing Ngannou over a potential matchup with undisputed world heavyweight champion Oleksandr Usyk. Fury, who has long been regarded as one of the top heavyweights in boxing, faced backlash from figures like Carl Froch and Tony Bellew, who accused him of avoiding Usyk in favor of the big money bout with Ngannou. The fight, a 10-round contest, saw Fury continue his legacy of being a relentless warrior, demonstrating his remarkable work rate and pressure that wears down opponents. Despite the criticism, Fury defended his decision to fight Ngannou, arguing that it was an opportunity he could not pass up, both financially and in terms of his boxing career. The 35-year-old Brit proved why he's one of the sport's elite, displaying his toughness and consistency in the ring. Many had expected Fury to dominate, but the fight still drew attention due to the significant crossover between boxing and UFC. Regardless of the criticism surrounding the decision, Fury's resilience and willingness to face any challenge cemented his status as a true warrior in the sport.
The big game changer. What's his name? Ngannou. Tyson Fury against Ngannou. So a crossover fight, boxing, MMA. Been there, seen it, heard it all before. See it with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor.
And Tony Bellew and Carl Froch, both retired former world champions, expressed their disappointment in Fury's decision in a particularly outspoken manner. The self-proclaimed Gypsy King was offended by their remarks. "Have a look at these fucking balls? Fool. Lick them." Bell and Frch clearly felt offended by the fact that they didn't profit from the game, according to Fury. "I can't tell you yet, but I just signed the richest contract in boxing history. They enjoy all these media jerks that bring up Tyson Fury's name in an attempt to generate some clickbait. But there isn't any __ ball boxing without memes." Launched the game. Fury was reprimanded for his contempt for the sport and its supporters.
It's not classy, is it? To talk about money, it's not classy at all. Me and Tony Bellew, and I can talk for Tony because I know he had a couple of lucrative fights on paper.
It isn't sophisticated at all. Since I am aware that Tony Bell has had a few profitable fights on pay-per-view, I am able to speak on his behalf. Discussing money at all is not classy. We've done okay, Tony and I. On his YouTube channel, Frch on Fighting, he stated, "We've left the sport with our health intact, financially free, and physically and mentally in a good place." He went on to claim, "Our CV doesn't stack up against mine, and I'm an average fighter. It simply doesn't. You defeated world champion Steve Cunningham and former cruiserweight Vladimir Klitschko 4 times. And you defeated Deontay Wilder twice in a truly disgusting and terrible bout. Have defeated world champions 11 times. What does Knox Lewis have? 4.
We've done all right. We've got out of the sport financially free, with, more importantly, our health intact. We're physically and mentally.
You can have as much money as you like, but when you attend the Hall of Fame party next year, you won't be seated at the top table with my peers and me, because you don't belong there wearing that CV dress." I did, however, add that Tyson Fury should keep his mouth shut and focus on actual fights. You should be defending your title by defeating other champions. How is the game going for you? 2 or 3 additional fights? Taking these crossover fights is a waste. The supporters are turning against you, and you are dying them off. It is disheartening to observe.
Concentrical. We don't need to know about it because
heavyweight is just a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
the heavyweights tend to make all the money they do over decades of.
Deep inside, although promoter Hearn is unhappy with the outcome of Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury's second fight, he maintains that Saturday's fight should have ended in a draw. I believe you are aware that you are harming the sport by entering the ring with a legitimate boxer like Anthony Joshua or Oleksandr Usyk. The 37-year-old Ukrainian fighter Usyk was controversially given the victory on points, much like in Saudi Arabia back in February, with all 3 judges giving the defending heavyweight champion the clash scores of 1-1-1-1-6-112. Fury claimed that his opponent had received a Christmas gift, which created a fight in the boxing world.
I thought it was very difficult to split them. Fucking hell.
Just got punched in the stomach by Naz.
Luckily I got a transmitter in there, otherwise I would have been down.
The Brit countered, "I thought I won that fight. I'm leaving with 2 losses on my record. Even though I felt like I won both battles, I can't really do anything about it. I can just give it my all. I'll think I won until the day I die." There was a hint of Christmas in the air that night, and I believe he received a small Christmas present from the judges. He said Fury, who lost the first fight in May by SP split decision, in an early Christmas gift.
Since the British Museum stole other countries' shit for centuries, whatever, maybe these camel jockeys were giving me a small bit of revenge. Anyways, I'll see you.
After losing to Fury 6-5 heading into the last round, Hearn, the chairman of Matchroom Sports, feels a tie would have been a fair outcome. He told IFL TV, "I thought it was a very close fight. I believed Usyk had won the previous round. I found it appealing. But it appears that many others did as well. I believe that Usyk won since there were many close rounds, and the AI judges' exclusion from the official scoring made the battle even more difficult for US. Usyk to 1-1-1-1-8-11. Although he was generally satisfied with the way the ruling was handled."
Where does he go from here?
Who?
Tyson Fury.
It's only one fight, but there's no point in me. It's not the time to start calling the fight out. You don't know what Fury's going to do. Maybe he doesn't want to fight again. The one thing I will.
Hearn agreed with Warren that Fury should have been awarded additional rounds.
Tonight.
I thought it was a very close fight.
You said 6-5 on Twitter going into the last
I
round.
thought Usyk nicked the last round. I had it a draw, but there seems to be a lot of people that had Usyk the winner. I think is that the overall